The content of this podcast is provided for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. The views and opinions expressed by the host and any guests are solely their own and do not reflect the views of any employer, firm, or affiliated institution. Any examples or strategies discussed are general in nature and may not be appropriate for your personal circumstances. Always consult a licensed financial advisor or other qualified professional before making any financial decisions. The host and production team assume no liability for any loss or damage resulting from reliance on the information provided in this podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to Trajecta Talks, the podcast where we unpack the ideas, tools, and disciplines that give you a sharper perspective in business, investing, and life beyond the numbers. I'm your host, Alex Savanovic, and I'm genuinely thrilled that you're here for our very first episode. So whether you're commuting, grabbing a coffee, just chilling at home, thanks for carving out some time to join me. Today, we're just setting the stage and taking it easy. We're going to talk about who I am, why this podcast exists, and what you can expect from the journey. So, before we dive in, this podcast is brought to you by Trajecta University. That's a passion project that I started to teach financial literacy and real world skills. It began small, tutoring students in math and advanced finance topics, but it's grown into something a lot bigger. And Trajecta now offers the following things. We do financial literacy courses tailored for students, career coaching and money management tools for young adults, seminars on practical topics like tax planning, budgeting, the basics of investing. And we also do some one on one seminars with professionals in the finance or tech fields. But honestly, we could find you someone in any field. Our goal with Trajecta is to help hardworking folks get to that next level with their financial education. So if you want to learn more, stick around for the end of the episode and check the show notes out below. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I want to set the tone regarding what you can expect in future episodes. So to start, we're going to do a quick, brief market update, 5, 10, 15 minutes, just to catch you up on anything and everything important that we saw come across the screens this week. We aim to drop a podcast every Friday, so we'll look to talk about all the important developments that occurred Monday through Thursday, leading up to that podcast drop. And since we're just doing a quick intro for today, for today's episode, we saved the first market update for next week. Stay tuned for that. I know it's going to be a very exciting one. So let's start with me and my background, so you know who this guy is behind the mic. I'm a finance grad from the Sauder School of Business at the University of British Columbia. And that's where I guess I dove headfirst into finance and got my real first taste of the markets. I started working at a hedge fund when I was just 19 years old, still in school, juggling classes and real world trades. The fund that I was working for has been delivering consistent market beating returns for nearly 30 years. And it's where I've been since day one, growing, learning, sharpening my craft every single year. I've been fortunate to work under a mentor that I would call a true Wall Street savant, someone who's taught me to analyze markets from the ground up, trade by trade, look at things from the big macro picture, and dissect our world from that point of view. My role at the fund, it's a bit of everything, and I really love that. I trade across asset classes, so that's equities, fixed income, options, preferred shares. Sorry, you name it. I've worked on private equity deals, structured private loans, and even got my hands real deep in the SPAC craze at its peak. One of my favorite parts is building our trading models. Think of them as tools that take raw data, like market signals, fund flows, macro indicators, and turn them into actionable trading strategies. So it's like solving a puzzle, basically a new puzzle every day. And when it clicks, it's incredibly satisfying. I also spent a lot of time on our private book, digging into early stage companies and direct lending opportunities. This work is more about than just financials. It's about sizing up a company's strategy, looking at market fit, what's the potential to scale. And I've had incredible exposure here, from analyzing startups with really bold ideas to structuring private loans. And honestly, I've been fortunate to get hands-on experience across every corner of our business. Like I've said, the trading, investing, syndicate, deal structuring, you name it, it's given me a 360-degree view of how capital moves and how opportunities are built or missed. And we'll definitely get into the nitty gritty of some missed opportunities that we've had over the years. So, why Trajecta Talks? So the idea came from a pattern that I kept noticing, both with the fund's hiring candidates and in conversations outside of work. Over and over again, I saw people, really smart people, struggling with the basics of money, not just investing, but things like how credit actually works, how to budget without feeling restricted, how to think about taxes strategically, how to make career decisions that align with your long term value, not just short term flash and glamour, what job looks cool now. And that was a wake up call for me. In a world where information is literally everywhere, think YouTube, X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, endless finance blogs, the financial literacy is still shockingly uneven. And it's not just about students or young professionals. I've had friends, family, other people in the industry ask me basic questions about mortgages, retirement accounts, or even how to evaluate a job offer's stock options, which can be daunting for some folks. So that is where Trajecta Talks comes in. This podcast is about, bridging that gap a little bit. Not everyone has access to people who manage real capital or navigate high stakes trades. Not everyone gets to sit in a room where million and billion dollar decisions are being made. So my goal with this podcast is to pull back that curtain a little bit, share the practical, tested insights, stuff that you can actually use in your own life, whether you're a student figuring out your first budget, a young professional navigating your career, or maybe you're a trader looking to sharpen your edge a little bit. Like I said before, I'm a trader. So if you guys have things that you want to share with me about trading, I love to read it all. Maybe we can help each other. Here's what you're in for. This podcast isn't about chasing trends or hyping the latest meme stock. If you're looking for quick tips or get rich quick schemes, this is absolutely not your vibe. We're here to help you think better, not just act faster. Each week, we're going to go really deep on any one topic, breaking it down so you understand the why behind it, not just the what. Here's a taste of what's to come. We'll talk about how credit works. We'll go through all the types of insurance that you'll come across in your life potentially. The math behind building wealth from very early on. We'll talk about managing your budget effectively, understanding and creating financial statements for yourself and maybe for your families, replicate how a business would do it, evaluating your fit in the job market and maybe how to improve your odds in the job market, how to make decisions when the future is very uncertain. We'll talk about building systems to reduce the amount of friction in your life. And we're going to talk about interrupting bad psychological patterns and so much more that it would take absolutely forever to list out. In addition to those fundamentals, every now and then we'll dig into some more advanced financial topics, more related to markets and trading to keep everyone engaged. So, those topics are going to be things like how market structure, like order flows, liquidity, ETF rebalances drive short term price moves. Why most personal finance advice is outdated and what the pros are doing instead, how hedge funds build portfolios to balance risk and reward. We'll go through the different types of hedge funds and the different hedging strategies available to those funds. How to evaluate startups and venture opportunities. That's one that not a lot of the public gets to really hear about too often. When to lean into risk and when to walk away, no questions asked. And we'll look at things like expected value, positive and negative, and how to handicap your odds. The mental models, we'll talk about those too. I use to cut through market noise and to stay focused on any trading day. And finally, definitely trader psychology, especially the trader psychology. I feel like everyone on TikTok or Instagram wants to talk about their 1,000, 2,000% return, but nobody wants to talk about the discipline, the psychology behind these trades. And people don't hear about it enough. We'll also dive into some real trades, not to push tickers, but to walk you through the process, how an idea was born, what data mattered, how we size the position, how we manage the risks. You'll get a front row seat to the thinking behind the trades and not just the outcomes. And I won't be alone. From time to time, I'll bring on colleagues, founders, analysts, traders to share their stories. People who've been in the trenches and have perspectives that you will absolutely not find in a textbook. These are folks who've made real decisions with real money, and they'll share what they've learned the hard way. The world is louder than ever. Social media, clickbait, headlines, fear, hype, you name it. It's really easy to feel like you're drowning in noise or always one step behind. I've been there, especially early in my career when I was trying to make sense of the markets. Everyone seemed to have an opinion. What really changed for me was getting access to people, processes that taught me to slow down, think clearly, take ownership of my decisions ultimately. And that's what I want Trajecta Talks to be for you, a space to cut through the clutter, play a better game, whether that's in the markets or your career, your finances, or your mindset. This isn't about shortcuts or feel good advice. It's about building systems, developing discipline, and understanding the why behind your choices. And folks, it's a two-way street. I want to hear from you. If you've got a question about budgeting, investing, career moves, or even something as simple as how to prioritize your time, please send it in. We'll tackle listener questions in future episodes to make sure that we're really hitting on the topics that matter the most to you. You can find out how to reach us in the show notes below, whether it's through our website, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or email. It's so hard to remember all of them. We're all ears all the time. All right, guys, that's a wrap for our first episode. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you, and I can't wait to dive deeper in the weeks ahead. If you found this valuable, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform, whether Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen. Make sure to like it, leave a review, drop a comment, subscribe. And if you prefer to watch, we've got a YouTube channel with video versions of every episode. The link for that is in the show notes below as well. And if you're curious about Trajecta University's courses or coaching, all the details are there too for the Trajecta University socials. Everything's going to be linked in the show notes below. All of this helps people find the show and it lets us know what's resonating. Plus, it keeps me amped up to keep on releasing helpful content that matters to you guys. Thank you so much for being here, folks. Like I said, I'm Alex Savanovic. This is Trajecta Talks. I'll see you next week. Have a very happy Friday. Take care.